Battle Bapheus, how a nomad became an emperor. What if I told you that one of the greatest empires in world history began not with a coronation, but with a cavalry charge so fierce it sent seasoned Byzantine warriors sprinting for the hills? What if the fate of Anatolia hinged on a dream? Yes, a literal dream, about a tree growing from a man's chest. And what if a small tribe of nomads, led by a man named Osman, turned a dusty frontier into the launchpad for a 6th-century-long imperial saga? So grab your sword, tighten your turban, and prepare to witness the birth of an empire. Long before Osman Gazi was flexing his Gazi muscles, Anatolia was the VIP lounge of ancient civilizations. The Hittites strutted through its hills like Bronze Age Kardashians, followed by the Lydians, inventors of coinage. Yes, they literally made it rain. The Achaemenids, Persian powerhouse, and Alexander the Great, who passed through like a whirlwind with a sword and a dream. By the 2nd century BC, Rome had RSVP'd to the Anatolian party. The peninsula became a Roman stronghold, a natural fortress against the Sassanids and later the Islamic caliphates. It was like the medieval version of a firewall, keeping the east out and the west in. But even the best firewalls get breached. In 1071, the Byzantine Empire, once the Beyoncé of medieval Christendom, got absolutely wrecked at the Battle of Manzikert. Alp Arslan, leader of the Great Seljuks, pulled off a military heist so swift and devastating it made the Byzantines look like they'd brought spoons to a sword fight. Anatolia was now Turkic turf. Cue the Great Migration. Turkic tribes poured into Anatolia like it was Black Friday at a bazaar. The land, once Roman, now hummed with the rhythm of Ghazi warbands and nomadic tents. The Great Seljuk Empire, however, couldn't keep its act together. Internal drama, decentralization, and a serious case of too many warlords, not enough empire, led to its collapse. Out of the Seljuk ashes rose the Sultanate of Rum, a state that styled itself as the heir to Seljuk glory, but had all the stability of a Jenga tower in an earthquake. The 12th century saw it battling European crusaders and the resurgent Byzantines under the Komnenoi dynasty. The western regions of Anatolia became a tug-of-war zone. Then came 1204. The Latin crusaders sacked Constantinople like frat boys trashing a rival's house party. The Byzantines were left dazed, and the Sultanate of Rum got a breather. With the Mongols busy terrorizing the Iranian plateau, Rum enjoyed a golden age under Kaykubarad, a ruler who built fortresses, patronized architecture, and made the Sultanate look like it had its life together. Now let's talk about the Kayis, the tribe that would eventually birth the Ottoman Empire. Originally from modern-day Turkmenistan, they were part of the legendary Oghuz Turkic lineage. According to Mahmud al-Kashgari, they were one of the 22 Oghuz tribes descended from Oghuz Khan, the Turkic version of Hercules meets Attila. In the 1220s, Genghis Khan was busy playing Risk with the entire known world. The Kayis, like many Turkic tribes, fled westward. Their leader Suleiman Shah tragically drowned in the Euphrates in 1227. Note to self, don't cross rivers without a plan. His son, Ertuğrul Gazi, took the reins and led the tribe into Anatolia. Ertuğrul enrolled his tribe in the service of Sultan Kaykubad I, becoming a Ghazi, a warrior who fought non-Muslims for religious glory and loot. Think of Ghazis as medieval bounty hunters with divine PR. In 1231, Ertuğrul seized the village of Söğüt, earning the title of Uchbey, frontier lord. He was gifted lands, including Domaniç, and his tribe settled near the western frontier. From here, the Kayis spent decades raiding Byzantine territories, sharpening their swords and their ambitions. Kaykubad's death marked the end of Rum's golden age. His successor, Kaykusra II, decided to play chicken with the Mongols. Spoiler, he lost. The Mongols, under Ogedei Khan, were not known for their patience or mercy. The Sultanate of Rum began to unravel, and the frontier chiefdoms like the one led by Ertuğrul's son, Osman Gazi, started to look more like independent states than loyal vassals. Now pause for a sec, step into the extraordinary, subscribe to Eccentric Digital Pixel. Welcome to the wild frontier of creativity, where pixels pulse with imagination and every frame tells a story you've never seen before. We don't follow trends, we bend reality. Get exclusive access to jaw-dropping digital creation string. Be the first to witness new drops by turning on notifications. Don't just scroll, experience the pixel revolution. Smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to never miss a masterpiece, because normal is boring, and you were born to see the world differently. It was 1243, and the Sultanate of Rum was having a full-blown existential crisis. The Mongols were knocking on Anatolia's door like debt collectors with siege engines. The new Seljuk Sultan, Khusraw II, decided to do something bold. He formed a Muslim-Christian coalition. Yes, you read that right. Muslims and Christians, side by side like a medieval buddy cop movie, ready to take on the Mongol juggernaut. Spoiler, it didn't end well. At the Battle of Koseda, the Mongols didn't just win, they decimated the coalition. It was less of a battle and more of a Mongol masterclass in how to dismantle an army with terrifying efficiency. Khusraw II fled like a man who just realized he brought a butter knife to a bear fight. The Sultanate of Rum was annexed in spirit, if not in name, and Khusraw became a puppet ruler under Mongol strings. With the Mongols pulling the strings, the Sultanate of Rum became a shadow of its former self. Governors and frontier lords, known as uchbeys, started acting like they'd never heard of central authority. The Sultan's word was about as effective as a parchment umbrella in a thunderstorm. But while Rum was crumbling, the Kaya tribe was quietly thriving. Nestled in the western frontier, far from Mongol patrol routes, the Kayas settled in Soet. They traded their tents for timber, their horses for hearths, and their nomadic lifestyle for something more permanent. Soet became a sanctuary for Turks fleeing Mongol wrath, a kind of medieval refugee camp with ambition. By 1280, Ertuğrul Gazi, the tribe's patriarch and Gazi extraordinaire, died peacefully. No dramatic sword fights, no Mongol arrows. Just a quiet end to a warrior's life. His son, Osman Gazi, inherited not just the leadership, but the dream. By Osman's time, the Byzantine Empire had retaken Constantinople from the Latins, but its Anatolian provinces were slipping through its fingers like sand. The Mongol Empire had fractured into 4 states, and the Sultanate of Rum was still a puppet dancing to Ilkhanate tunes. Osman, ever the opportunist, began cozying up to the Byzantine tekfirs, semi-autonomous governors in Bithynia. But diplomacy turned to drama when the tekfir of Inagul got a little too aggressive. Between 1283 and 1285, Osman defeated him near Hamza Bey, and in 1285 he pulled off a surprise night raid to capture Kulaka Hisar, his first castle. Think of it as his starter home for future conquests. In 1288, the tekfirs of Inagul and Karacha Hisar tried to stop Osman's momentum. Bad idea. The Battle of Akischa ended with Osman capturing Karacha Hisar after a siege that probably made the tekfirs wish they'd taken up farming instead. With each victory, Osman's reputation grew. Ghazi warbands from across Anatolia flocked to his banner like moths to a flame, except these moths had swords and a taste for Byzantine loot. To solidify his political clout, Osman sought the support of the Ahis, a Sufi Hanafi religious order. He married the daughter of Sheikh Edebali, his mentor and spiritual guide. One night, while staying at Edebali's home, Osman had a dream. A tree sprouted from his chest, its branches covering the sky. The next morning, Edebali interpreted the dream. Osman was destined to rule a vast empire. This vision, Osman's dream, became the mythic cornerstone of Ottoman legitimacy. It was divine PR, and it worked. During the 1290s, Osman's forces captured Bilecik, Taraklı, Göynek, and Eskişehir. But this wasn't just a Muslim-Christian conflict. Many Christians, including Michael Kossis, a former Byzantine tekfir, joined Osman. As Constantinople's grip weakened, local leaders made deals with rising Turkic powers, realpolitik, medieval style. Meanwhile, the Sultanate of Rum was in freefall. The Seljuk Sultan was imprisoned by the Mongols in 1296 after a failed independence plot. Governors and uchbeys declared independence like it was going out of style. In 1299, during Friday prayers, Osman made it official. He declared independence from Konya and ordered that prayers be said in his name. The Ottoman state was born, not with fanfare, but with faith. Osman launched a campaign into Byzantine Bithynia, capturing Köprü Hisar, Inagul, and Yenişehir, which he made his capital. Muslim families and Ghazi warriors settled in the newly conquered towns, trading nomadic life for urban ambition. Then came the blockade of Nicaea, a city once lost during the First Crusade. The Byzantines had had enough. Emperor Andronikos II sent a 2,000-strong relief force under Georgios Mouzalon to lift the siege. But Osman was ready. On the 27th of July 1302, near Koyan Hisar, Osman's 5,000 light cavalry intercepted the Byzantine force. Muzalan's army was mostly foot soldiers, including 1,000 Alan mercenaries who apparently didn't read the fine print. The battle began with a thunderous charge of Turkoman cavalry. The Alan mercenaries panicked and withdrew early, leaving the Byzantine infantry exposed. Osman's forces tore through them like parchment in a storm. It was a decisive Ottoman victory. Bapheus wasn't just a battle, it was a declaration. The Ottomans were here and they weren't going anywhere. On the 27th of July 1302, Osman Gazi's cavalry didn't just charge, they erased the Byzantine front line like a Ghazi with a grudge and a good breakfast. The Alan mercenaries hired by Georgios Muzalan fled faster than a cat in a thunderstorm, leaving the Byzantine infantry to face the wrath of 5,000 Turkoman horsemen. The result? A decisive Ottoman victory. The Byzantines limped north toward Nicomedia, licking their wounds and wondering if hiring mercenaries who moonlighted as part-time cowards was really the best idea. With the battlefield cleared and the Byzantines in retreat, Osman's forces spread across Bithynia like wildfire with a shopping list. Villages were raided, fortresses captured, and the coastal city of Gemlik fell into Ottoman hands like a ripe fig. Ghazi warriors were practically high-fiving each other between raids. Osman wasn't just winning battles, he was building momentum. And nothing terrifies an empire more than a charismatic warlord with a growing fan base. But the Byzantines weren't done yet. In 1303, the local tekfirs of Prusa, Kite, Adranos, Orhaneli, Kestel, and Ulubat decided to play their last card. They formed a coalition, dusted off their swords, and planned a two-pronged attack. Strike Yenishehir, Osman's capital. Relieve Nicaea, still under Ottoman blockade. It was bold, it was desperate, it was doomed. Osman, ever the tactician, got wind of the plan and rallied 5,000 warriors. He met the Byzantine force, slightly larger at 5,000 to 6,000, at a narrow mountain pass near Yenishehir, called Dimbos. Now imagine trying to fit two angry armies into a rocky ravine. There was no room for flanking, no space for fancy maneuvers, just raw, brutal combat. Swords clashed, arrows flew, and the air was thick with war cries and regret. Among the fallen were Idodu Bey, Osman's nephew, and the Tekfir of Kestel. The Ottomans won, but it was a Pyrrhic victory, the kind where you win the battle but lose half your cousins. After Dimbos, the Byzantine coalition collapsed faster than a poorly built siege tower. Each Tekfir fled back to his own fortress, hoping Osman wouldn't come knocking. Spoiler, he did. Osman and his son Orhan launched a campaign of vengeance and expansion. One by one, they captured Kite, Kestel, and Ulubat, tightening their grip on Bithynia like a Ghazi tightening his belt before a feast. With the countryside under control, the Ottomans resumed their blockade of Nicaea and began a new one around Prusa, modern-day Bursa. The Byzantines, once the landlords of Anatolia, were now tenants under siege. With victories at Bapheus and Dimbos, Osman Gazi had done more than win battles. He'd cracked open the gates of Byzantine Bithynia. Ghazi warriors poured in, Muslim families migrated. The Ottoman Beylik was no longer a frontier nuisance. It was a rising power with a capital, an army, and a dream. Next up, the Battle of Dimbos, full breakdown, bloodshed, and brilliance. So if you love tales of empire building, battlefield drama, and the occasional prophetic dream, don't forget to follow us, subscribe. Click that notification bell so you never miss a moment of Ottoman epicness. Until next time, may your arrows fly true and your history be legendary.